In the scary world of internet hackers, we all need a little bit of help, and this just might do the trick.
Basically, the reason why things are broken ultimately is not really a technical reason. Is the problem that nations need everything to be broken just in case some terrorists or great criminals are going to use it. And they've broken everything, even the technologies of their own leaders of the parties of the United States or Trump's personal phone talking to his associates. And so unless you solve both of these problems, you can't solve either now of this. And so that's the approach that we're taking. And so coming to today, we've aggregated now two nations, industry associations in Europe, foundry, CPU maker, a whole ecosystem to create a certification body. We have held 6 events throughout the world.
Nice.
We're presenting a research proposal to the European Union, and we spin off a startup called Trustless AI, which is now moved to Geneva since September at the Fusion Accelerator. That is raising equity for building a first compliant technology and a completely independent certification body to certify these levels of security.
Have you noticed a big change in recent years in what you do, or the regulation, or anything like that has had a big impact on what you guys do?
People probably have not been as innovative as we are. And also there is quite a bit of deception in the media. On one side you have nation states trying to emphasize how secure some technologies are so that they convince criminals to use them. And so they overestimate how secure technologies are, like an application. Many people think that you just get an application, you could be secure. And on the other side, you have companies that sell devices like Apple saying, oh, okay, we'll never give access to anybody, and so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of deception on the media about how secure things are and so on.
You mentioned innovation there. Can you just talk us through Trustless.ai? What this device is, what does it do, why is it so important?
Banks really have built their value proposition on being the trust partner of their clients, and now everything's moved digitally. Unless you are the digital trust partner, somebody else will become that. And so you may lose the front-end relationship with your clients. That's like on a defensive way. Another way, it also opens an opportunity. Wealth management institutions usually only see their clients once every few months. Many of the most important things are only discussed in that scenario. With this device, you could create a much more intense relationship. If you want to, like a family office and so on. And so you deepen the relationship, extend your services, and so there's a lot of opportunity. So not only it's a defensive strategy for wealth management banks in Geneva, but also it's an opportunity to grow their revenue, expand, and compete against other wealth management companies. There are hundreds of them here in Switzerland, and it's getting commoditized as a service.
You mentioned Geneva there and wealth managers. We have the Geneva Wealth Tech Forum coming up in March. What are your views on events like this and kind of bringing people together, and why do you think events like that are so important?
Well, I think it's a great initiative. We just recently got informed about that, and I think that of course, Switzerland has been conservative towards technology, and I think also in a good sense. Some of the hypes around originally quantum computing, then the hype, of course, about blockchain. Many of the banks have been sitting in the back. They've been perceived as old dinosaurs. And instead it's just cautiousness. And it's been proven by the recent development of blockchain, which has an incredible potential in more of a medium long term. But still there's so much to be solved and so on. And so their general approach has been cautious and good. But recent developments on PSD2 or how cybersecurity, as we said, is getting less secure, how the fact there are new players coming in the market like neobanks or payment providers, and so it's no longer an option to stand still. You need to somewhat come to the fore and try to do something. If you're a big company, you could do it by yourself. If you're a small company, try to get in some kind of consortium to give your shot. Otherwise, somebody else will use technology to hit up on your business model.
And as in Geneva and Switzerland in general, what are your thoughts on the ecosystem here in Geneva?
Well, there are a few initiatives. I mean, the Fusion Accelerator where we have been, they've been very good at attracting startups from all around the world and promoting startups homegrown here in Switzerland to bring them forward with technologies. And now banks are also being engaged with the accelerator. So there is some interest on that, and there are also some adoption of these technologies, but definitely there could be more. There is kind of like a strange disconnect because most of the technology companies are, and also expertise and talents are in Zurich and Lausanne, whereas the headquarters of the wealth management banks are in Geneva. So there's a little bit of this disconnect doesn't enable a constructive interaction within this, and that's one of the reasons we are also in Geneva, because we're really working very, very closely with the clients. Nowadays you can't really do a startup unless you work from day one with your customers, really getting something that is fit, from a user experience, from compliance. That's just so many issues, and so that's one of the reasons I think Geneva it's really the right place for us to be.
Rufo, it's been absolutely fascinating speaking to you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
Thank you.